my name is Cecilia and Iskandar, and I'm from SMK 3 Sudah. So, on this beautiful day, I'm going to tell you a story about the 4 clever brothers. And what is interesting about this story is that I'm going to add a little bit of storyline that I created already. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this. One day, I was so sad because I felt that I was not worthy enough to take care of my 4 children anymore. So I told them to leave the house and try to explore the wide world in their own way. Before they left the house, I asked them to bring some stuff that might help them along the way too. After that, they left the house and left me all alone. I felt so empty inside, but I had no other choice anymore. Every day, I always reminded of the memories I had with my children when they were still in here. I was a shepherd whose income was not much, but who knew that I actually had a special power. No one knew that I was able to communicate with any animal. I prefer to keep and have my power, so that's why no one knew about my power, including my 4 children too. A few months later had passed. On that day, I went to the market to buy some food for myself until I saw a beggar who's begging for money. He looked so skinny that I took pity on him. So I ended up buying some bread for him. He was so thankful and said, "One day I'll repay you back, I promise." Then I just smiled at the beggar, because what could I expect from a beggar anyways? That's what I thought. After that, I went to go to my house and do my afternoon routine like usual. A few months later had passed. On that day, I was so happy knowing that my 4 sons finally came back to my house. When I saw them, in my mind I said, "Oh my, they have fully grown up now. Time sure flies so fast." After that, I hurriedly offered them to eat and take rest first, since I knew that they looked a little tired from the long journey to this house. The next morning, I decided to task each of them to check if they were capable or not after the long journey they have been through. So I called all of them to go to our backyard. After they arrived, I asked my second son to find out how many eggs were in the top of the tree. So my second son took his glass, looked up and said, "There were 5 eggs, father." After that, I asked my eldest son to steal away the eggs from the nest without letting the bird know it. After I got all of the eggs, I put the eggs on the corner of the table and asked my third son to shoot each of them. After all, the eggs were cut in half, so I asked my youngest son to shoot each of them. When I see the results, I was so proud of them because they were able to make a good use of their time and learn something new. A few months later had passed. My sons and I heard such a great contest coming from the country. The king mourned of his losing daughter, who was carried off by a mighty dragon. The king also announced that whoever brought her daughter back shall have her as a wife. Hearing that big news, of course I wanted my sons to join the contest. So they sailed off together to find the princess. They were cooperating to find the princess using each of their skill. My second son used his skill to find out whether they could set their princess free or not. After finding out where their princess was, my first sons sailed off together over the sea until they arrived at the right place. After they arrived at the right place, my eldest son went in and stole away the princess from the dragon. He did it quietly so that the dragon didn't notice it at all. After that, they were so happy that they could set the princess free. So they set off to go back to their boat. But unfortunately, the dragon had awoke. The dragon tried to chase them. So, my third son picked up his bow and shot it right through its heart and it died. Unfortunately, the dragon's body fell down to their boat and broke it. So my youngest son gathered up all the pieces of their boat and tacked them up together so they could get home safely. After arriving at the country, my first son sent back the princess to the king safely. The king was so happy and asked one of them to marry the princess. Then there was a quarrel among them because all of them believed that each of them saved the princess using their skill. The king couldn't agree more, so as an exchange and to stop the never-ending quarrels, the king would give half a kingdom for each of them. On the other hand, the princess were married to her loved one, and my first sons came back to my house to take care of me. The moment of truth finally came. I called all of my sons and told them a big secret that I had been hiding. I told them that I actually was the dragon's savior. The beggar that I met a long time ago was actually a cursed dragon. My sons were shocked to hear that big secret, but they were still grateful for the dragon's help and sacrifice. And yeah, after that, they lived happily together. So, before I ended up this video, I wanted to tell you one thing. As a human being, we should help others in need kindly, because we never know what surprise life has to offer us. So yeah, that's the end. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this story. Yeah, bye bye!